Let's hear from some of the folks in the audience on the day where we normally do it, on the Friday show. We take calls on the Friday show via Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. The quality of the calls varies dramatically from week to week through no fault of my own, I want to mention. It's just coincidence. Let's start today with Brian from Virginia. Brian from Virginia, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's on your mind today? What can I do for you? What have you been thinking about?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, David. Thanks for calling me. I had kind of a topical political question and then just kind of a different question, if I may. But my first question is just one thing that really honestly scares me is just the potential for, obviously a Trump victory in November would in its own different ways be very scary. But in the event of a Biden victory, just the potential of violence, as we saw in 2021, January 6th, having now learned from, whatever their mistakes were. Well, their mistakes.
Mistakes as they see them, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. What do you think can be done by individuals as well as just kind of on a societal platform to mitigate or negate that?
Well, listen, there's two different things. I share your concern that there could be violence from Trumpists if Biden wins. Although I don't want to be hyperbolic. I also think that as long as law enforcement is prepared, it's going to be okay. That's my expectation. I think as far as law enforcement goes, as long as they are prepared, the amount of hijinks that the Trump supporters will cause if Biden wins, I think will be controlled. In advance, as a society, we need to just make it clear that there's no place for that sort of violence. You go and you vote, and if your side wins, great. Now you've got 4 years to govern. And if your side loses, you lost. Elections have consequences, and you don't vote, lose, and then go and become violent. And as a society, we need to really show that it would be shameful behavior to go out and commit acts of violence. And to the extent that people are very much influenced by peer pressure and groupthink, the more that it can be made clear by people on both sides of the aisle, I should mention, that there is no place for violence of that kind and that you are going to be ridiculed, socially ostracized. And if you commit a crime, you also might end up being prosecuted and rotting in jail for a while. I think that is an important part of it. And then, yes, law enforcement has to be prepared as well. But also, Brian, let's not count our chickens before they hatch, if you know what I mean. And let's first deal with November 5th. If November 5th goes the way we hope it goes, then we'll figure out, okay, what sort of security and plans need to be in place for December and January for both the counting of the electoral votes and the inauguration. And I think law enforcement can be more than well enough prepared.
Fair enough. So it's kind of how, at the last inauguration, they kind of stepped things up as a result of January 6th.
Yes, they did.
So, and then just kind of I guess kind of off the wall question. I know you've said that you're I think you've said ethnically and culinarily Jewish, but
yes,
not religiously.
Right.
So I've been raised Christian my whole life, so I've celebrated Christmas, but my family's also in a lesser degree celebrated Hanukkah. Do you think that's weird or inappropriate for someone who's not ethnically or religiously Jewish to kind of partake in that tradition?
I've been asked this before, and I even have friends who aren't Jewish whose kids hear about Hanukkah in daycare or something, and then they want to light the candles. I don't take any offense to people who aren't Jewish lighting Hanukkah candles or getting each other gifts. It's just, there's so much going on. Who am I to get offended or upset if some non-Jews want to celebrate Hanukkah? It really doesn't make any difference to me. The questions of cultural appropriation or whatever, I just don't care. Have at it. Light the candles if you want.
Fair enough. All right. That was why. Thank you so much for talking to me, David. Hope everything's going well for you.
All right. Brian from Virginia, great to hear from you. Breaking a deeply ingrained habit is one of the toughest things to do. Our sponsor, Fume, can make it easier. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, remove the bad from the habit. And that's, quite frankly, what Fume helps you do. Fume is an innovative, award-winning device that delivers flavored air. That's it. There's no vapor, there's no nicotine, no electronics. It's just delicious flavored air delivered by the cylindrical Fume device that fits in the palm of your hand. It comes in tasty, refillable flavors like raspberry lemon, orange vanilla, grapefruit crisp mint. The Fume device goes in your pocket. You can carry it around. It has movable parts and magnets, so if you're fidgeting or want to, it's great for that, and it's just a useful thing to break bad habits. And it provides that perfectly satisfying hand-to-mouth mechanic that many people love. Don't judge Fume until you've tried it. They have helped countless people make positive changes, and you could be next. Head over to tryfume.com and use code PACMAN to save 10% when you get the Journey Pack, which comes with the device and several flavors to try. The link is down below.